Today I wanted to talk about alignment and the other side of it where it doesn't always feel so good and happy and cheerful all the time, where it could be really hard. You can go through periods of inconsistency. And I've definitely gone through that, and I've always kind of gone that question of like, am I in alignment? I'm constantly in that question in my mind. Am I in alignment? Am I in alignment? And am I in alignment? And of course you are. Of course you're figuring it out and you're going through alignment. Alignment isn't one single linear horizontal kind of thing. It's periods of ups and downs, and I'm learning that it's a lot more of disciplining yourself than you actually have the motivation. I thought for so long, like, I had to feel like the most confident, skinniest, most presenting person of myself. Like, I had to be always looking great in order to be in alignment. Or if I wasn't looking my best, or I wasn't feeling my best, or I wasn't, able to do it, then I wasn't in alignment. And I do not feel, that's of course not the truth. There's going to be periods where you're learning and you're growing, and in that journey is where you see that you have to constantly meet yourself. For so long I feel that I would shrink myself, or I would like kind of lull and put myself into smaller places where I was like the stable job, the relationship that looks good on paper, or the friends that look good, and the career that everyone else wanted for me. And I was like, that's alignment. But I was never doing it for myself. I was never feeling it for myself, and I feel I wasn't showing up for myself, right? And then I was wondering why I wasn't motivated. I wasn't like feeling any peace from my career, right? Where I wasn't feeling any peace from my living environment, or where I was living. It was like the best place you need to live, stuff like that, right? And I feel for the first time, I've learned the alignment is kind of showing up for yourself, showing up, being the best version of yourself for you. That's how you create the alignment in your life. And the more I do that, the more I show up for myself, the more I put myself first, even if it doesn't make sense to other people, even if they don't understand what I'm doing, I feel I continue to create alignment within myself. And then you were able to find the motivation through the discipline. I also think that there's a lot of practices you can do to create alignment. If you are feeling that you are in a lull, though, I would say sit with it. Figure it out. Figure out what is best for you. Figure out how you become the version of yourself for you, how you continue to meet yourself, how you continue to show up for yourself. What does that look like for you? Because it's going to look different to everyone else. There's periods of time where when I need to recalibrate, I just sit there and I watch all the Bravo, all the Housewives, and it makes me feel at peace. It really does. It makes me feel, okay, we're back to normal. We're back to where we can meet other people, right? As opposed to what everyone else thinks for me. If you need to stay in a few weekends, or you need to go out and see people, whatever you feel you're showing up for yourself, whatever choices you are making that you feel are for you. It takes a long time to get there. It takes a long time to really discipline yourself, especially someone like me who has, I feel like for me, I have a lot of ADHD. I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of beautiful thoughts, a lot of intense thoughts, and I'm constantly getting this like crazy excitement from an idea or doing something, or the idea of doing it, and then when I actually have to execute it, I don't feel that crazy excitement anymore, right? And this is a journey I've felt forever, and this is a journey I'm going down. I always have to go down. I have to figure it out. And I think the biggest lesson with it, or like way I'm overcoming it, is through showing up every day. Showing up for something I know I'm passionate about, or I know I find joy in, even if it feels like hard, or it doesn't feel as easy as I would want. But in doing that, I really feel when you push yourself first before you actually feel ready is how you're creating new pathways for alignment. I got so interested for a while in the neural pathways in your brain, how you can create new neural pathways you could actually learn when you get older. And for so long they said that like you can't, like it's the whole thing, and can't teach a new dog, an old dog, new tricks, or you can't learn certain things once you become older. And it's like, I love that that was debunked, because I feel like it's now open, like given so much opportunity to so many people who want to try different things, whether you spent your whole life, you know, like you hear those beautiful stories where someone like decided at like 40 years old that they loved ice skating, so now they're going ice skating every morning, and they've become like such a radiant version of themselves. And I feel sometimes it's not always about you know, the friends or the relationship or the, you know, career to be in alignment. It's like these little acts of joy or these little acts of peace that you receive every day. I feel in my life the way I've created a lot of it, or the way I've created a lot of peace, is through hot yoga. And I think a lot of times when I like fall in love with a new workout or a new you know, something to challenge myself, I become hyper fixated, right? And then I give up and I get sick of it. And I think showing up every day to hot yoga has really like opened my eyes. Like I feel so at peace afterwards. There is like a sense of like light in my eyes. And I think the more I decide to show up for myself, even when it's like I have to wake up at 7 a.m. and I'm remote, so I don't have to wake up that early necessarily, but putting that into my practice and showing up for myself and knowing that it's going to be a good day the second I do that, knowing I'm going to feel great and it's going to change the trajectory of my day, especially if I'm having like a really hard time, you know, or a hard week. It really is just like disciplining yourself, and that creates new opportunities, that creates new luck, that allows the joy, allows the beauty to come into your life, you know. And also I've done a lot of when I do workouts or do the hot yoga, I set an intention. I set, like, they tell you in the practice to set intentions, but I set a few intentions, and I set this new intention of releasing fear and anxiety and anything that no longer serves me. And I release it, and I'm like, I'm transmuting it into, you know, the divine and whatnot. And when I do that, I've started doing that since the beginning, right? And I have a couple other intentions, but that's like one that's a major one that it's consistent. And every time I do that, I feel lighter after. But now I'm noticing that I feel this release through the day. Like sometimes I feel I'm like purging, or I'm like crying out things that no longer feel connected to. Like I'm reading this book, the Unhithered Soul, and it's so beautiful, and I find myself like I was crying hysterical reading it. And it's like it wasn't even like it was about lucid dreaming, right? And lucid dreaming is like, it's not that sad, it's, you know, whatever. And then I saw this like really, really pretty leaf on the floor, and it was like red and yellow and like a little bit of orange, and I like tear up. I'm like, wow, I can't believe there's so much beauty in the world. And I think when you do stuff like that, when you add more of that into your life, you're able to kind of receive as well. So it's very much how I really truly believe, to create these alignments in your life, to create these patterns, you have to consistently show up for yourself. You have to consistently be disciplined, do the work, which it's not always easy, but it's okay. You could get, you know, have the tools to do it, or have the resources, or have, if you don't have the resources, have the friends, have the support system to do it. But the more you show up, the more you're proving to yourself and the universe that you can get through it. The more you're able to do the hard things, you know, even if the hard things are, in your situation, going for a walk. It may not be easy, it may be you're exhausted and it was a tough day, but going outside and doing that for yourself allows you to get to receive more. And it just really goes in a way of like, I feel it's like the give and the receive, it goes both ways. And that's, I don't know, when you show up, it really creates newness in your life. And I don't know, I really noticed that a lot lately, and sometimes it's not easy, and I know how it cannot be easy. I've been there where it's not easy, and I'm begging, and I'm like, what is going on with me? I don't understand, but it's also worth it. You know, you need to just be consistent and do it. And I promise the confidence will come from showing up for yourself, because that's what you always have to do in this life. And it really is beautiful.